Now, since Len moved next to Craig on the judging panel this series, Craig and Bruno seem to have swapped personalities.
Wild, passionate and sexy, it wasn't.
You're a dancer, and that proved it.
I'm very disappointed. I could not find a single thing wrong with it.
You've got the look right of Fred Astaire, but you'll dance like Fred the Stiff.
It was leaps and bounds ahead of what you did.
You're like the Royal Mail. Spite of many attempts, you still cannot deliver.
Very light, very nimble and very good.
Yeah. You went from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely stunning.
Very laboured.
Gorgeous.
That was a disaster.
Amazing.
A total musical bypass.
Delightful.
I don't think you have a feel for the music.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
You dragged poor Brendan into samba hell.
It was really wonderful to watch.
It lacked drive, it lacked glamour.
I wouldn't be agreeing with Bruno because I thought you did fantastic.
None of us understand it. Please welcome Craig Revel. What has happened? You've become... I don't understand it.
I've fallen in love, Claudia.
By the way, this is
That's
true.
what it is. It must be love.
You're madly in love, so you're just very smiley.
Yes, I feel sorry for all of them now. Actually, no, I don't. I think I'm just seeing a little bit more of good, unlike Bruno, it seems. I think Bruno really does have quite a critical hat on this series.
He's just got jet lag.
I think it must have something to do with that, because normally he's very floral and passionate, you know, but he is quite tired. And as we know, last series, Len, when they were travelling backwards and forwards, Len got very grumpy too. Okay. But I'm seeing a lot of good this series, I have to say, even in Craig and Flavia.
Let's talk about... Not such a big even, if you don't mind. No, I know what you mean. Let's talk about Saturday. Yeah. The four of you were quite harsh, Alicia specifically.
Yes.
Did you feel like it was... No, a bit too
I think, Claudia, you have to understand, it is the halfway mark.
Yeah,
and now the dancing is getting better and better. People are learning the ballroom and the Latin. They're starting to learn all the rules. They know that we have to watch them with a much more critical eye. And, of course, that's what we're doing. And we're now looking for the mistakes, not just looking for all the good and all the wonder and all the beauty in the dance. We want to see it done well and done properly. OK, no, it's a good point. I'm joined by Len Goodman. Hello, Len.
Yes, it's me. I'm here, hanging on nicely.
Thank you so much for joining us from America. Did you feel... I mean, you were quite warm to Craig, but did you... Looking back, did you think you were a bit harsh to him, or do you think he deserved... Like, it was time for him to go?
No, it was, you know, as I said, I was happy for him to have got to Blackpool, and that was his goal. But, you know, when you watched... And it was fortunate or unfortunate, he was the last one, so we'd seen everyone else, and it was obvious that he was the one to go. And I also thought what Alicia said, you know, was very fair. You know, Zoe Lucker's sitting in the audience watching, and there's Craig dancing. But, you know, it was a fair comment, and it was the right time for Craig to
him to go. Let's talk about the first 40 of the series, the first 40 ever for a Viennese waltz. It made me emotional to watch. Len, let me ask you about Ali and Brian. What was so brilliant about it?
Well, you know, first of all, you know, I think I might have said it, that certain dances absolutely suit certain personalities and people. And she's a very balletic sort of a dancer. She's got a great amount of musicality in her. And everything absolutely suited her in that Viennese waltz. The music, the choreography, everything. It just all went together.
Totally. Now, Craig, what I loved is the whole room exploded when you said, I'm very disappointed, and then everyone was like, and you said, I couldn't find anything wrong with it.
Well, I was actually looking for mistakes, believe it or not, because I don't know, maybe it was too early for 10 or not, but... You know, you have to go with what happens on the night. And to be honest, she carried me completely away in that. It really was a real Cinderella moment.
It was just so beautiful. Let's talk about Liftgate. Let's talk about Layla and Anton. You knocked a point off. You were quite strict with them, Len.
Well, you know, it was such an obvious lift, you know, and it was sort of spinning around with her legs 2 foot off the ground. And it was very obvious that it was a lift. There was no attempt to sort of keep one toe dragging on the floor or anything. It was an absolute lift, and right in front of me. And you know, I don't want to see everybody start lifting everything. So it would have been an 8, but I had to give it a 7.
Now, unfortunately, Len, you don't have a monitor where you are, but I'm going to show Craig. Somebody else did a lift, both in the dance and then in the dance-off, but it wasn't picked up. Ricky and Erin, let me just show you this.
Well, you see, sometimes, Claudia,
Look.
this can happen, yes. Sometimes, see, normally, in something like that, one foot should be touching the ground all times, and generally that always happens. But it depends what angle you're seeing it from as well, because the professional dancers know what angle the judges are at, and they can actually disguise and hide some things from us. But we're normally very vigilant, you know, at that point.
No, of course. I want to talk about Jade and Ian, who I'm literally just walking around calling the dark horses of the competition. And what I love most about them, they are so surprised that they stayed in. They are very tall human beings, but their jive was great, wasn't it, Len?
Yes, and, you know, which is surprising because usually the tall people are not quite so good at the jive, as we've discussed in the past. But I must say, I did think that, you know, she really came out. She's very athletic, obviously, and that suits the jive. And really, I thought she did a really good job.
So did I. You mentioned seeing her real girlish side.
Absolutely.
I mean, she got a 9 from Alicia. Let's just say it was brilliant, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was, and it's the softest I've ever seen her dance. And it's bizarre that in a jive, because normally you attack it, you know, with great verve and energy. And I really was expecting sort of a Brahma bull coming out, you know, like a tank, sort of delivering those kicks and flicks. But actually, it was all very girly. It was I loved her. I thought it was wonderful.
Let's very quickly talk about Natalie and Vincent, just because the choreography, I believe, was just incredibly hard. Len, what did you think when you look back?
Yes, it was... I did understand why Vincent stuck that bit of jive in the middle. I know I did comment on it, but, you know, no, I don't think any celebrity could have kept that pace up and that amount of choreography without somewhere having a bit of a break, and I think that's what Vincent had to do.
Yeah, well, they got 31. It's all they wanted. Craig, it was I loved it, with the dress and the song.
Yeah, me too, and I absolutely really loved the jive section in the centre of it. I thought it broke it up really nicely and turned it into more of a performance than just a quick step. OK.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Len.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye, Len.
Craig, thank you so much. Craig Horwood.